Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the After Eight Show, another edition of fun, laughter, entertainment, information, inspirational talks, and beautiful people, such as our fellow panelists, DJ Buzadelic. Welcome,
What's
DJ
up?
Buzadelic. Hey.
How are we
and we
doing this morning?
Ju- I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm
Good.
all my spirits are always lifted when I come on this show. So it doesn't matter what week I've had. As soon as I do this show with you guys, it's like all my worries is faded away.
Hey, it's the vibe. And I know I said morning. It's morning somewhere in this world, but it's actually evening in the
It's
UK, y'all.
evening where I am, yeah. Can see it's dark outside. And we got Mr. Gary Hines for Sounds of Blackness joining us as well on the panel.
How you doing, Queen Adasa?
I am fine. How are you?
Always better when I see you and my brother Boozadelic.
Oh, my pleasure, brother.
Oh, it's wonderful to see both of you. How was your week, Gary?
Like we always say, I'm even working on a song with this title, Blessed Through It All. A lot of people say blessed and highly favored, and that's true because it's scriptural. But if we keep it 100, there's always some stuff jumping off, like challenges and struggles, or at least for me, I don't know about nobody else. So challenges and struggles, but blessed through it all.
Do you know what? That is just so on the spot, what you've just said, because I
Mm-hmm.
was talking to somebody yesterday that's going through a hard time, and they
Mm-hmm.
were like, Adassa, you just know what to say, how to say it, and you say it so gentle, non-judgmental. Since I don't judge nobody, we're all God's children, and we all have gifts and we all have faults, and we have it in many different various ways. What I'm good at, you're not so good at, and vice versa. And we have to respect that. We have to embrace that. We have to honor that. We have to work on it. There's loads of things we have to do with that, and it's okay. It's really okay. And what I also pointed out to them is that, obviously I'm busy, I've got a lot to do and every day, but it's a joy being able to have a positive impact on somebody else because that helps me too. That's therapy for me. So, even though as they say, people are empaths and, people that have a lot of empathy. I think I'm in that category. Yeah. And for my sins sometimes. But I gain from that too. So, I gain from that because, um, I gain a lot of learning as from it. And plus it enriches me as well that I can be of benefit of help to somebody else.
Yeah, the big man put us here for one another, not for ourselves. That's what's up.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely so. And remember, if you look at it much bigger, you're not just helping that person only. I mean, obviously yourself as well, but you're helping every single person they come into contact with. So
Yeah.
you're shaping and you're changing the world around you simultaneously, just like that.
Absolutely, we rub off on one another, and that's an old African tradition as well. When Sounds of Blackness were finally blessed to go to the motherland with Stevie Wonder to Cape Coast and Accra, Ghana, for a Pan African festival known as Panafest. And I think you may have heard me tell part of the story before, but we when we were coming back from the Elmina slave dungeon castles, we literally, as we were walking to the buses across the sand on the beach, we ran into the great Nigerian master drummer who we lost some years ago, Babatunde Olatunji. Some people may not know that name, but if I say Ko Jingloba. They know that's Babatunde, you know, that and did with Santana and all that, right? But anyway, a master drummer, Brother Boozadelic, could play simultaneously in 3 time signatures.
Wow.
Yeah, right, right. How crazy is that? But I bring him up in relation to what you were saying, Queen Adasa, not only for his musical prowess, but he extended something, and I said that this great African tradition. He had us all hold hands on the beach in a prayer of restoration and reconciliation, because in Ghana they refer to us here in the U.S. as the lost children, you know, lost to the sea. So that was reconnection, but also he had touched hands with like Duke Ellington and Cab Calloway and Rosa Parks and some people that we were blessed to not touch hands with, or in Rosa Parks instance we were. But he was saying from Duke Ellington to you. So his hand touched Duke's, and even though that was years ago, now his hand touching ours. So he was sharing Duke with us and all that kind of. So and we literally touch each other like that. And I know how you meant it, you know, in terms of how we touch each other and have influence. But the actual touch itself is a connection as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Because and it's really is true. Um, we all, as they say, hugging somebody is therapeutic, and it really is. We need that embrace. It's important. It's something with that energy, especially if the person has a good energy. You feel that, and it passes through. It goes back and forth. You share that. And if you hug somebody who doesn't have a good energy, not so good, their vibration is lower, um, then equally you can feel that as well, and it can feel quite uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Everything is energy. And I can think back when I was a kid and there was somebody that just, gave me the red flags. I'd always get this weird feeling right behind my ears. And, you notice how like animals like cats or dogs can know if you're a good person because they'll come up, and that's because they can read that electromagnetic field that we all have. And so when you say good energy and bad energy, I mean, that is so true. And a lot of us, we don't recognize it for like decades and stuff about the whole energy. And we keep aligning ourselves with the bad energy and then wonder why we feel bad ourselves.
It's so wild that you put it that way, Brother Buzadelic, because you know, in other cultures, especially African, Indian, Native, and other cultures of color, for the most part, there are words and phrases for what you just described. But in Western culture here, we either write it off or talk about, coincidence, or it's this or that kind of thing. But I've got over the years I've had some good friends who happen to be policemen. Not all police are bad. Me, Mr. Protest Leader, I'd be the first to say that. But I say that to say this in relation to what you said, Buzadelic. Even police officers, when they give community seminars and stuff like that, they tell people, especially women, our sisters, if you're ever in a situation and it doesn't feel right in your body, trust that feeling. Don't write it off, kind of thing. Get to your car, call for help, get in a lighted space, kind of thing. Trust those feelings. So, at least in some instances, we acknowledge that. So you're so right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important to trust your instincts. I remember, many years ago, I was watching something, and then it was an interview, and the person said, "Your instincts is your human compass," and I quite liked that. And it's so right. It really is your human. It really does navigate you through situations and circumstances. So yeah.
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 It's almost primordial. I mean, he's going back. Early in prehistory. We as beings had to trust our senses, not only sight, sound, smell, all those kind of things, but sensory, the extra, what we would call now extrasensory kind of thing, for survival. Like, if you better have that, you better exercise that, or you weren't going to last, kind of thing. And again, too often we write it off now in this day and time. But it's great that we acknowledge it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so
Mhm.
important that we do. So I always follow my instincts in a lot of circumstances, especially like sometimes you get a feeling and then you kind of analyze yourself, you talk to yourself, because um, sometimes it's not the environment, it's not the other person, it's actually yourself. There's something going
Mhm.
on internally. But if you have great self-awareness, then you're able to tap into that, and you're able to have that conversation with yourself. Like what it's almost like a quick conversation, like what's
Mhm.
going on, why are you feeling like this, um um is there something going on with you?
Mhm.
Is there issue with you today, or what's been happening the last couple of days or the last couple of
Mhm.
weeks, or whatever's going on in your life that's making you react in that way or think that way?
Mhm.
So we do have to tap into ourselves as well. But where the feeling is overwhelming, it's
Mhm.
almost like there's an engine running inside. I don't know if you've had that feeling before, but I certainly had. It's like an engine charging up, and you can't even explain it. And even when you try to rationalize yourself and objectively, it may come across like you're acting crazy, but you're not. You're not acting crazy. You're not acting in any way that is strange or weird, because it's just too overwhelming. Then don't go wherever you're scheduled to go. Don't do what you're supposed to do. Don't say. Sometimes it's the things we say. Don't
Mhm. Mhm.
say.
But it's funny because it's like everything that exists has some sort of electric, a frequency that we can tune into, and it's kind of like a radio. And I know at different points in my life, I've been more perceptive of things than other. I can think of this like 3-week period when I was in college, where I was just like, people started calling me Nostradamus because I was predicting stuff that would happen. And so I was working on a grounds crew, and we go out early in the morning. There was 3 of us that ride in the truck, and generally I drive the truck out the garage. I said, I don't want to drive today because I know something's going to happen. And so the old guy was kind of like teasing. He said, oh, here we go with the superstitious stuff. And we
Mhm.
weren't 2 minutes out the garage, pulled up to the first light, the brakes go out in the vehicle, and we rear end at a slow speed a pregnant lady.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so, and I just knew something was going to happen, and I didn't want to be responsible for it. It didn't stop it from happening. But then, like a few days later, we're on campus, and I said, "Man, we're gonna have to go clean up a big mess from the tree today." And they said, "What?" And there was nothing wrong, calm skies and everything. And I
Mhm.
said, "I think the oldest tree on campus today is just. I got a feeling it's gonna like come down." And sure enough, we hear this crack all the
Oh
way across the campus,
my
and
goodness.
it happened. And so I had no idea why I was able to tune into stuff like that happening. But I mean, I just noticed at different points in my life, I've been more receptive of it than others.
Well, brother, we probably all have the gift, but you have it an extra measure of it. Of like I say, my North Carolina side of the family, would say, well, you got the gift. They would just give that up kind of thing, and we all have spiritual gifts in different ways, and you clearly attuned with that. My grandmama would have said, follow your first mind, kind of thing. Put it that way.
Yeah.
And you know what? It that brought to mind as you share that with us, brother Boozadelic. One of our former Sounds of Blackness singers, named Valerie, she worked at the University of Minnesota, and she just retired, in fact, a year or so ago. But anyway, uh, I know this made international news, and if you hadn't heard about it, Queen Adasa, I'm sure Brother Boozadelic did. Years ago in Minneapolis, we had a major bridge collapse, the
Yeah.
35W bridge. You're right, and it was on CNN and everything, and and dozens of people were killed, and I mean, it was horrible. And my mom, rest her soul, her building was about 2 miles away. But even being 2, 3 miles away, she heard the collapse of the bridge. She called me and she said, it sounds like the world's coming to an end. What's going on, kind of thing. But anyway, I say that to say this: that bridge is near the University of Minnesota where Valerie worked. She was on her way home right before it happened, and was trying to rush to get home, and was getting just about get caught at a stoplight, and she was almost about to dash through it, but she said, "Oh, I better not," and she hit her brakes. Had she went through that stoplight kind of thing, she would have been on that bridge, with those that perish. So, I mean, it's follow your first mind. Although when you said that Boozadelic, that immediately that similar situation came to mind. But spirit, mind, and body are one, and a lot of times it's just flat out, Holy Spirit or God speaking through us. Sometimes it's ancestor energy, which is also part of God speaking to us. And then it's just really for me the reality that more than being human beings having a spiritual being experience, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So being in touch with that spirit, is what it's all about.
Yes, definitely. And that's why I begin each day with like a morning meditation. One of the first things I kind of do is get in tune with my body and feel the different energies and the different chakras and all that.
Yes,
then I do
sir.
my gratitudes and all that. But that's what keeps me connected to that energy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. We've got 11 minutes left before our guest arrives, Stone Paxton. I'm looking forward to Stone Paxton joining us today. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of his he'd go on like late night. He'd be composing music and he was messing around with his what was it, a MPC-1. And he just kind of
MPC.
yeah, so he just kind of be talking his way through it and just creating some amazing stuff. And I kind of looked at it as a tutorial, I started watching so many of them.
Yeah. MPC, you took me back with that, brother.
Yeah. I got a Renaissance, but I can't get into I'm trying to tap into the software to get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Well,
that's old school.
old school, brother. It's so funny. It brings to mind it's kind of a tangent to what you're saying, but still in the same ballpark. A lot of times, even to this day, either in interviews or sometimes just working with some of the younger heads, kind of thing, and they ask about Jam and Lewis and Prince, and working with it, and how did they get that sound on this, or what keyboard is this, man? I got to get some new stuff. It's like, brother, I hate to tell you this, but it's not the new stuff they're using. Some of those sounds you're hearing are like mini Moog, poly Moog.
Right.
Some of the actually what's old, what's new is old, what's old is new, kind of thing. And they were assuming that it was a brand new sound kind of thing. And every now and then it would be, but more often than not, it was from an older machine, keyboard, synth, MPC, all that kind of thing. So when you mentioned MPC, that took me back to all of that.
Yeah. I was thinking as you were saying that, I saw a video the other day and they were with some producer and he had like a Juno 6.
Juno 6.
Like a Yamaha DX11.
Yep.
And what was the I used to have one of these. I had a Roland 909. I wish
Yeah.
I'd have held that bad boy because I got it for like about, I think, $79 at the pawn shop. Man, those things now several $1,000s.
That's
Wow.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
So
if you have an original SP12, that's like $12,000-$13,000 now.
how about that?
Oh,
Remember
big
the old Roland D50?
Yeah, the D50, that's a good one.
I love the D50 horn and synth horn sounds. I can still remember them now, kind of thing. So we should probably break down what some of these things are, because I know we're talking shop now, but MPC and D50 is like, what are them Negroes talking about? Talking another language, right?
That was one of the ultimate keyboards, man.
Yes, they were.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to want one of those so bad.
Man, I had an original one, Fender Rhodes Suitcase 88.
Oh, really?
Okay, so that's the good news. The bad news is you recall how big and heavy they were.
Yeah.
And I, to this day, still in my third floor apartment with no elevator.
Oh man.
So I was lugging the suitcase and the 88 keyboard, up those steps kind of thing. So but wonderful sounds, and you know what? There's so many programs and so forth that files now, purporting to sound just like like the Rhodes, and some of them are pretty close, but in the words of Ashford and Simpson and Marvin and Tammy, ain't nothing like the real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see those packs all the time on those VST instruments. They're always selling them. It says, has all the rolling 808s. And I'm like, I bet you it doesn't.
Nope. So for those of our listening family that may not know, and I know we're talking a lot of shops, so pardon us. MPC stands for MIDI Production Center, and a lot of drums and other programming and sequencing would be done on that. Basically, a computer, not particularly large, would fit on your desktop kind of thing. Just to give there may be some who have like no idea what we're talking about, Boozadelic. So, but that's what an MPC MIDI production center is. And you could store your programs, write your sequences, program it all, because it's with pads that you would tap the different sounds into, kind of thing, and create your file, your sequence, whatever, and your sounds, or blend the sounds. So that's what that is for those that are wondering. My man.
So this right here. I was talking about those VST instruments.
Up.
Yeah, it's one thing to talk about. It's another thing to see it. Thank you, brother.
That is so funny.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
That for people that just starting that Akai MPK Mini, you can get that thing for less than $200, and it does everything as far as production work. If you're on the road, like tomorrow when I'm doing my treatment, I'll have that, my interface and my computer, and I'll be sitting there knocking that out.
Yeah, and let me be hasten to say that for me, and I know for a lot of other producers, and I bet that includes you as well, Brother Boozadelic, those pieces of equipment serve a valuable purpose. Sometimes they're used entirely, in a recording kind of thing. But for many of us, they would be a part of a track. But then I got a 4-piece horn section. So, when it comes time to finalize the track, I'm bringing in my real horns, to play these parts kind of thing. So sometimes, when we would demo up a track kind of thing, especially those kind of tools would be very valuable just for people to hear what the concept was and what you were trying to, create, which way you were going with it, or for the, to write the horn charts to, or whatever kind of thing. And like I say, sometimes they were actually used. They were used in the recording or even in the live performance. But for many of us, the preference was, and for me always will be, to go live, with live musicians and instruments.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day because already an artist has hit me about my next production, and I was like, man, I haven't even thought about that. And I was thinking, well, I got a cousin that's one hell of a saxophone player. I should figure out a way to incorporate his horn playing ability, have him come in and record a track or two for me.
Yes, sir.
And that would be quite interesting because you don't really hear the saxophone on a lot of reggae tracks.
No, you don't. I've heard it on a couple.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was just like, wow, that's a whole new element.
That's right. Saxophone's one of the closest instruments to the human voice, kind of thing. So along with the violin, and so so important to do that. And in fact, also just in terms of the learning tree, and I'm sure you've run into this, Brother Boozadelic, as well. Sometimes we're working with the younger heads, or even just talking to them, going into the music centers or the schools, whatever kind of thing. And you'll play them some old school, some James Brown or whatever it might be, and they'll be like, man, what drum machine is that? It's like, no, that drum machine is named Clyde Stubblefield.
Yeah.
Okay. And oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say the funky drummer, they were just messing around on that.
That didn't happen. Yes. Yeah.
And that's like one of the biggest, drum samples that
samples of all time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people like, he was locked that tight. I said, yeah, locked that tight. It's called practice and rehearsal and sweat equity, and ain't nothing you can smoke, drop, take pills, or pop to do it. You got to put in the time and pay the price and put in the sweat equity to be that good. There were, and you'll know this, Brother Boozadelic, and for some of the listeners who may not know, back to early days of recording, even jazz, blues, R&B, there were great live musicians who didn't have what we used to call studio chops. So some of the cats that were great live, not all of them, some of them could do both. Some of them who were great live didn't have the studio pocket, or that wasn't their strength, so they may not get called for the session, for the studio session. And the reverse was true. Some of the studio cats, not all, there were many exceptions. Some of the studio cats were great pocket in the studio, but not as great, you know, live with the fluidity, you know, kind of thing that you need of a live performance kind of thing. But those studio cats, I mean, were just a whole nother level of expertise and precision kind of thing for those recordings, because this was the day before all the, you know, the voice boxes and digital mix fix stuff, where you just had to flat out be able to play.
Yeah. You know, when I get on the radio sometimes and I'm doing those mixes, and like when I use that funky drummer, that was so in the pocket that like I watch the waveforms and I'm mixing, because sometimes, you know, it'll start to get a little bit off when you got somebody playing manually. His don't.
Nope.
I mean, he was like a machine. It's just like, man, I can let that roll for, you know, 45 seconds before it starts moving a little
Clyde
bit.
Clyde Stubblefield, for those who need to put a name to it kind of thing. All those James Brown funky licks in the main, you know, was him. And then later in the James Brown band, of course, those bass lines, Bootsy Collins. A lot of people don't know that Bootsilla, a good friend, you know, was James Brown's bass player, you know, for quite a while. And then of course on horn, you know, Fred Wesley and Maceo Parker and Sinclair Pinckney. It's like, man, where they get that? What the synth is that? No, those are live horn players that tight. What? Yep.
Yeah. You know, that James Brown movie, my favorite part of the movie was when he said, man, go get that Bootsy cat.
That's right. That's Bootsilla. Yeah.
Yeah, Bootsy has some pretty cool stories about, you know, when he got with James Brown, how he thought it was gonna be partying, you know, they're gonna be like rock stars and all that. He said James worked so hard they couldn't have no fun. A couple of times they got in trouble.
Yep.
Yeah, for dropping some acid in a cup on him or something.
You know, the Godfather, you know, was a taskmaster, you know, but that's where that precision and perfection comes from. You know, people like, I wonder how, like trying to make it all complex and trying to figure out. No, it was sweat equity and focus, you know, and practice and rehearsal daily. They would practice individually and then rehearse together, and until it was just so tight, and then do a Prince, you know, was a beast like that in terms of, you know, God rest his soul. I love my dear brother. But a taskmaster as well, kind of thing. You know, rehearse like hours and hours daily kind of thing on a show or for recording. And that's what it takes is what it takes.
Yeah, I never had the opportunity to see Prince, but one time he was in town, he played in this small venue and it sold out, you know, within like the first half hour or whatever.
Right.
And I was working that day, so they were doing the sound check. And I happened to be in that area because I was waiting for I was a bus supervisor at the time, and I got to stand out there while they were doing the sound check. And man, I was
yes, sir.
Whoa, it blew my mind.
Yes, sir.
How many instruments do you play, Gary? By curiosity.
Oh, no problem. Let's see. Began actually as my first instrument was a set of bongos. At age 4.5, 5, got them. Prince would call it the secondhand store, like he told the Raspberry Beret. But back, I was still in New York, so we called it the Junk Man. You know, the Junk Man had a set of bongos. So that was my first instrument. Then the next year, my brothers and I, rest their souls, started getting military snare drum lessons at the all-black Samuel H. Dow American Legion Post, number 1017, Yonkers, New York. So bongos, drums, and then later on, you know, that graduated to a drum kit, and then percussion instruments, marimba, xylophone, and as you can hear in many of my arrangements, my favorite percussion, timpani. I get Tim crazy kind of thing, but always in the back of my mind, there was this flirtation with the piano, always a fascination kind of thing. So that's certainly the dominant instrument now. But across the way here, you can't see it right now. Here in my 1-bedroom apartment is a drum pad, rubber, but not a drum. Kids now, I want a drum set. No, you're going to get a drum pad, and you're going to learn how to play first and then, you know, ultimately you're going to earn a kit. So those are my instruments.
Okay.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's interesting. Yeah. And plus, the piano, the keyboards is like the heart of many of the other instruments because that's how they tune their instruments via the
Right. And it
piano.
is actually a percussion instrument, technically.
Yeah.
Piano. Yeah.
Is there a percussion? Oh,
Forget piano is actually a percussion and stringed instrument. Yeah. Because you're actually striking the keys, and the keys strike the hammers of the keys that you strike the strings. So yeah, a lot of percussion involved in piano play, regardless of style. Whether it's
yeah.
European classical or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, that's it's something new that I've learned. Yeah.
we
Yeah. I
off
used to
into the
play the
technical today,
guitar. I
Deli.
used to play the guitar and the clarinet.
Well, yeah, I figured that out like when I was a little kid because the piano in the church, I remember it didn't have like part of the backside, and I used to see those little hammers come down on top of the strings.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so when they were
yeah.
talking about the different type of instruments, they said, "What about a piano?" I said, "It's percussion." They said, "Huh?" I said,
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
You're hitting something."
clever. You put that together. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It surely is. Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm,
I think my teacher wasn't progressive enough, and then I was forced to try to play the flute. So I kind of got turned off on music at an early age because I
Oh,
wanted to play
okay.
the drums,
Yeah.
but my
uh,
mom wasn't having it.
you
Dad
I,
know,
definitely wouldn't have had it. And so,
God, yeah, my mom, rest her soul, and probably because she was such a prolific, singer, musician, a singer in her own right. But here's me, my three sisters who got into the drum corps as majorettes, but me and my two brothers, before we got our drum lessons, beating on pots and pans in the house. Three young, but beating on, and now any other parent, or like when we were like grandparents, they'd be like, "Give me that noise," cut that. But not mom. She encouraged. In fact, she said, "You know what? I'm going to take you guys up to the post that I mentioned earlier, that Sam Bell,
yeah.
and get you drum lessons." And she sure did, and the rest is history. So,
oh,
but
nice.
when we came back with drum pads, rubber. So all you heard was you didn't hear bang,
Oh,
bang,
yeah.
bang.
Yeah.
But practicing on those pads, is what developed our wrists and our forearms and our finger
Yeah.
strength and dexterity. And it's sad. I see so many kids now learning on drum. Kids like, no, learn the instrument first and then take it there, kind of thing. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. It'd be interesting to hear Stone Paxton's view of how to develop and learn these instruments. And he plays a few instruments himself as well. And he's going to be joining us any minute now. He's getting ready to join us.
All
So,
right.
wow, everybody brace themselves. We have Stone Paxton going to be joining us, international artist. He has collaborated and produced and written for many of our great artists. So some of you who may not know Stone Paxton, he is the talent behind many of the front facing artists that you see on the platforms. See, it's not just the ones that are on the platform, there's a whole team that support what they do. There's the songwriters, there's the producers, there's the backing singers, there's the there's the there's the band, there's the choreographer, there's so many people and components that bring the stage alive. And without any of these, it's not the same.
That's right.
Yep. So together it makes, and Stone Paxton has made a big impact in the music industry. He's going to join us. He's going to tell us a little bit about it as well. And he's going to join us with our great conversations today. Welcome, Stone Paxton.
There we go. Wow. You guys can hear me good?
Yo, what up, bro?
Hey, what's happening, you guys?
What's
Oh
up,
my God.
Maestro?
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
What's happening?
Love,
Good.
love to you from Sounds of Blackness, my brother.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. Come on, man. I mean, you guys are, legends, man.
Oh, bless you, man.
Legends, brother. It's an honor to be in the room with all of you guys. First, I thought you couldn't hear me, but I guess you hadn't brought me in live yet. So
Yeah.
I'm good now.
We can hear you
Awesome.
right now.
All
Looking
right.
very dapper as well. Loving the hat and the jacket.
Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you. Well, I thought the guys were going to spice it up, so I had to be ready for them.
Oh wow.
I was
Like
I
we
gotta
used to,
be
like we
ready.
used to
Yeah.
say back in the day, Boozadelic, he's clean as a board of health.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely got the drip looking good, man.
Thank you. So I got a photo shoot for my for the Valentine's Day single. So,
Okay.
but I'm always, righteous anyway, no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Loving the look. I'm just gonna bring the Queen of Boozadelic on as well now. She's
Okay.
I can see her prepping herself up just for you, Stone Paxton.
Oh,
She's
all
putting
right
on
now.
her lipstick.
All
She's
right now.
admiring herself in the
Okay.
background. She's
All right.
pouting her lips. What's going on here, the Queen of Boozadelic? What's going on?
Yes, Stone Paxton in the house.
Hey.
What's up? Hi,
I
young
had
lady.
to get the Dior out and the Nivea lotion.
Oh man.
Yes.
Come on. Give me some of that lotion. My hand's kind of rusty
Hi,
right there
Lola.
anyway.
What's up?
How you doing, Queen?
I'm good. Queen of Boozadelic is here.
Yeah. But me and Boozadelic is feeling some kind of way because we don't get all that makeup and primping for us.
All right, I got you.
We feeling some kind of way.
Well, it's a little thing with Stone Paxton. Stone,
He deserves it. I'm totally messing with you.
and you know what, Stone, as far as me, just the inboxes he's done with me. I even found out one of my songs was on the iTunes chart and I didn't even know it. And it was because of him I had found out about it. So,
Nice.
he's definitely a brother that, supports other independent artists. I love his posts that he does. And so I just appreciate you, Stone, just for the person that you are. I love you as an artist, but as a businessman and just everything that you are just bringing to the industry. I'll be pulling out my pen cigarette when I see a post. I'm like, oh, son, here we go.
Yeah. Sometimes I get started and it's the crazy and the gentleman will understand this. It's like when you've done something so long, you're so passionate about it, but when people hear you talk, they think you're talking crazy or you're ranting, but in reality, you're just passionate about it and you don't want nobody else to go through what you went through. And so it appears to be a rant or you're going off, but in reality, there's messages within that. If people just listen to it and decipher, they'll be able to pick out those messages because I'm passionate, man. Like when I talk, I just can't help myself because when you've done something so long and it's real to you, whether you make money with it or not. I grew up where we rehearsed in the garage for 8 hours a day and we just loved doing it. That's just what we did.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I mean? So that was a different time. And the younger generation now, they don't understand that dynamic.
Nope.
They have American Idol and all these shows that just kind of, you went from this to that now. They never had to pay any dues and sit in that garage through the winter and rehearse.
Come on
cold
now.
garage, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
There had to be a real passion for that. So when I speak, it starts all the way back to something that's divine that started from the love of it, not the money or the attention or the success, or it was none of that. We just love being on stage. We love playing instruments and,
Yes,
it was
sir.
just something about that, So.
So I definitely appreciate, the conversations that we had. So,
Absolutely.
So
yeah, I'm just glad I would be. You're talented, and when I heard you, I was like, yeah, she's got something special. And so, I share that with people that are not special, and I share that with people that are special because if I can say something to somebody that I feel like has a potential to be that special element, I'll say it to keep pushing them to get to the level to where when I heard you, I was like, no, she's special. She has something. And special people go through a lot of stuff. So, you know, they get lied to, they get promises made to them. So I didn't want to lie to you about anything. I wanted to be transparent and honest about everything I said to you. And sometimes that can come across to be kind of mean. Some people think I'm mean. There's some people that think, oh man, Stone, but I'm not. Like when you really get to know me, you know, no, this dude's he's a passionate dude about this business.
Right.
And I just want to see people be successful. I want to see African-American people be successful. And then here's another thing. I say to women vocalists, there's so many female vocalists right now. Like, so I'm on female vocalists tough, especially if it's somebody I really like, I'm on them tough because I want them to flourish above all the other. There's a lot of, I've never in history, and I'm sure these gentlemen are going to agree, and my young lady here, the other young lady here, both of you guys, and never in history have I seen so many great female artists. This is like super incredible right now. Independent and major. Like this is one of the craziest times I never saw I would see in history. So I try to share with female artists how they can stand above the other female artists and how you win above the next ones that might be just as good as you. But how do you surpass them and how do you go beyond and win when there's so many great ones?
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent.
Good point.
You know,
there really is a lot of talent out there.
It is. It's incredible, you know.
Yeah. Queen Adasa, I will be right back.
Okay. All right. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
All right. One of the things I was going to say, Brother Stone Paxton, is I was saying this before the show started. We were kind of sitting around chatting, is that I appreciate those like late night sessions you would have when you'd be putting out a new song or working on a beat. Yeah, it was like they were like tutorials, man, when I needed some inspiration.
Yeah. You know, I have a YouTube channel where I do these 5-minute beat making, and I do it to inspire the younger generation and producers to understand that you don't have to take, I know guys who take a year and they're still on the same, I can call it, how's that song going? Oh man, we're still working on it. It's been a year. The creative process is truly what it says. It's creative and it's spontaneous, and it goes like this when the creative is working. Now there's times where, you know, the creative part might not work, but if you cultivate it and that atonement for the creative side is there, it's like turning water on. It just comes. Everything is an idea. Everything is a concept. And so you have to activate that. It's kind of like opening your chakra. You have to activate the creative part, and then it comes natural. And my thing was to show people that it doesn't take forever to write a record, because when I have a conversation with you, I'm having a conversation with you. If you ask me a question, I answer it. And writing records are like that. It's a conversation with life, relationship, people, politics, or whatever you want to write about. There should never not be anything that we can't write a song about, because we have so much around us. We're just not tapped in as artists. They're not properly tapped in. And once they tap in, it shouldn't take forever as a composer or a writer to write a song, you know? So those were inspired because of that reason is why I started doing those through the years, is to show people who might not think they can ever make it in music. Like I want to inspire the OGs, like that are sitting at home with equipment and they've had it for years and they think they can't do anything with it. Okay, come on, you guys, get up, get on that equipment. Let's make this track. Come on, we're gonna make a track. And I get you interactive with me, right? I'm like, yeah, so this is the drums, this is the snare. Now I got you interactive because you see all that equipment in your studio. Now you get up and go, you know what, man, Stone does this. Man, if that brother can do it, I can do it. And that inspiring a person is what I'm all about, because sometimes we just need somebody to inspire us and let us know that equipment, I bought it for what? I mean, just because I don't have a platinum album or a gold album, or I'm not signed to major, does not mean I can't have records out. It does not mean I can't put records out. It does not mean I can't be successful. It just means I have to prioritize the things that I am endeared about and just move forward on those things and just make it happen. Just make it happen.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I was one of those that used to kind of sit on an idea forever and ever. And so, but then it was like, as I got more into DJing the reggae stuff, somebody said, you need to put out a rhythm And if you really want to make it as a DJ, you got to start producing music. And so I said, I'm going to do it. And this was back in the summertime around my birthday, back in late June. And then 1st of January, I put the rhythm out.
You see, now that makes me feel good to hear that you said that, because I mean, we're not getting any younger. Every day we're getting older, and I tell people this also. When I write records, I tell people I write records for life, because I don't try to follow trends per se, because those young kids are going to be older than they are younger.
Yeah.
And all the stuff that they listening to now, trust and believe me, they're going to be listening to old school R&B. And so I write records, timeless records. I don't try to write trending records. I just try to write records that with great melody and conversation and lyric and things that make you go, man, they don't write records. They don't talk like this anymore. Does this even exist anymore? So that's what I'm all about. But I'm proud that you decided to do that, because I think we talk one time about you having something coming out, and I was like, yeah, bro, let's go. Come on, man. Let me hear it. And when it's ready, I want to check it out. I got your back. I'm going to support. And I think you shared a couple things with me.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and send you the 5D consciousness rhythm after we get off this show.
Yes, please. Oh, and Benny, I didn't get to share it on my page. When I went back in, I looked and saw that you say share it. Don't worry. I'm going to share the whole show on the page. When we're done. We're going to make sure we bring these numbers up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
So for Stone, how long have you been playing music? Have you been in the music? What was because we asked Gary that question. What was his first instrument? And he was saying the drums.
Gary Hines.
Gary Hines.
Gary Hines. Okay.
Yeah. He said the drums, but he played he didn't play on the drum set first. He graduated onto the drums. And
go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish, because I'm looking at the drums right now.
Okay, because you play the drums as well, don't you?
I grew up playing drums in church, and my mom was an evangelist. So when I was 6 years old, they would just make us go up on even if you didn't know how to play, get up there on that organ, you go over there and get on the drums, and you just did it, and that's how you learn. You were already singing in the choir, but as far as instrumentation, it was really like if the music minister didn't make it to church yet, they would just say, boy, go up there and get on those drums. Let him stay on the drums. And that's how that happened. Was just, I was there, and that's what people did back in the day. They would just make kids go up there. If they had some sort of talent, they would just make them go up there and just get on the instrument. And before you know it, you're playing drums in church, and it's 10 years later, and now you're the head drummer of the church. And that was my story with the drumming being one of my first instruments, that, and then piano followed next, because of being in school and band and stuff like that, having to know about every instrument,
So when you played the piano, did you have to learn to read music and learn composition and all of that?
Absolutely. My school was a school of music, so you had to know music theory, even as a drummer, like, eighth notes, 16th quarter notes, all that. You had to know all that stuff. And a drummer needed to know about the piano, and a piano player needed to know rudiments, drum rudiments and rhythms and quarter notes and half note rests and things like that. So yeah, you had to know about a little bit about everything, because when it was time for you to take certain tests, especially if you're taking tests for college and you were trying to get your money every year, you would have to do recitals and stuff like that. And some of them was based on music theory with piano. You might have to play a song on piano, or at the end of the year when you were graduating, you had to do a full composition, things like that, or write a song. I mean, they had a few different ways that they did with us, but it was beautiful, because I look back at that, and in school I studied Bach, Beethoven, cortato, jazz. We did jazz, because I was in jazz band and regular band. So, and then I would go to church, and it's gospel, and then at home it was island music, it was reggae, it was R&B. So my head, and then I was in a rock band in the 80s, you know. And so like my head was everywhere. And that's probably why my music is just, I just do music. Like people say, oh, you do R&B. I'm like, man, I do it all. I do whatever the universe tells me to do when I'm in the studio. Whatever the universe says to do, that's what I do. It's like, even though I'm from a funk band and I was part of this and that, I just happen, because I mean, you can be in any kind of band, but it doesn't mean your music is going to sound great. I mean, how many people we've seen that have been a part of bands and they do a solo album has been horrible. So I just think my comprehension for creating music has always been awesome, because I paid attention when I was being taught music theory, so that I can approach a jazz. I can do it. I got a jazz single that I'm going to put out. When you hear it, you're going to be like, man, this dude, what doesn't he do? I don't limit myself because I come from music. So there's no telling what my next single might be. You know, I mean, I might go far left field. I got a rock album I never put out. So there's just really no telling, because I want to be known for music. I don't want to be known just for funk. I don't want to just be known for R&B or this or that. I want to just be known to be a creator who creates just great music. And all that came from my background of being exposed to all those different things from church and also from band with the music theory.
And what type of music do you enjoy the most? Because do you have a favorite or a couple of favorites?
I do. I love jazz. Like when I'm not in the studio, I spend my time listening to jazz and rock, old school. Yeah, I barely listen to rap because I produce so many rap artists in the music industry. I've worked with so many rap artists. It's like nothing against rap, because I work with some heavyweight guys. But matter of fact, I just did 2 songs for Salt and Pepper's new album whenever that comes out, and then Pepper has a solo gospel album. I got 2 records I produced on her. I don't know when it's going to come out, but the 2 records, my partner Rufus Black and I, he wrote it and I produced it. So, but I listen to jazz on my off time, jazz and rock. That's my thing. Like I wake up in the morning, I turn my jazz on, turn my big band stuff on, and then in the evening I'm listening to rock, because I don't like to listen to what's normal on radio, because I don't want my music to sound, when I write a record, I don't want it to sound like what I've been listening to in the car. So I won't listen to anything that's on radio. So literally every record you hear me do, it's not being influenced by anything I'm hearing on radio, because I don't listen to radio. I'll go buy my favorite artist records to support them, but I won't. It's got to be Stevie Wonder, or it's got to be some jazz or some stuff. Other than that, I won't. I don't listen to modern radio, because I just don't want to. I don't ever really want to sound like anything. I want to always have my records come from a fresh point of view. So you as an artist or a DJ, when you hear my music, you'll say, okay, Stone seems to always come these different directions, or his arrangements or his melodies and his cadences are always different. It's because I'm not sticking myself to one style of music. I listen to it all.
But I can tell, because your style, your dress style, your image, your music, your composition, everything is very eclectic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh yeah. And it's sometimes hard to even pigeonhole which category your music is in, because it's like, is this soul? Is this R&B? Is this jazz? Because it's just a combination, a fusion, in fact, of all of it.
Absolutely. Which is interesting you say that, because through the years of, I used to break my ex-wife's albums in the UK with Key Jam back in like 1995. Key Jam was my promoter. I used to deal with him with the UK, right? And that's when they used to have them CDs. Remember the CDs? They would put the songs on back then, and they would go out to, it was like compilation CD with major artists and independent artists on it. And so what I learned quickly back in 95 dealing with the UK was, okay, my ex-wife stuff worked great because it was straightforward R&B. But then when it came to my stuff, like the black DJs weren't really playing the funk stuff that I was doing, which I wasn't mad at them because I had to figure out how the white DJs work versus the black DJs. Now the white DJs play all my funk stuff. They play that religiously. But the black DJs had a different vibe. And it's like if you weren't doing that vibe, they weren't spinning the records. It had to be straightforward R&B. And not that they wouldn't play funk, but they had a system they had created from American R&B artists. And this is a system you got to follow. If it wasn't neo soul, and this is before neo soul was neo soul.
Yes.
You know, you had groove theory. They wanted music with that sort of vibe. If it wasn't a groove theory vibe, they wouldn't bumping it. If it was funk and old school, the white DJs were playing that. And so even to this day, even with my current records and the Key of Love and any of the funk stuff I do, I don't ever pitch it to the black DJs. I always pitch like my straightforward R&B stuff to the black DJs, and then I pitch the other stuff to the white DJs. And that's something I had to learn as a businessman and as a producer. Like, okay, I got two different demographics I'm dealing with the UK. And so, and it's interesting. It's kind of cool too at the same time, because if I decide to do a tour, whenever I decide to come to the UK again and do something, I know that I can work these two different demographics and use it to the fullest of its ability while I'm there, you know. Because the connoisseurs have a song of mine.
You figured it out. I'm glad you figured it out.
Oh, I figured it out quick because I couldn't understand why. Because I used to talk to black DJs when my In the Key of Love album was out, and I was like, "Hey man, you playing my record?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, "Well, what's wrong?" They said, "Oh yeah, we don't really play. We like funk, but that don't fit our format." So I was confused. And I thought it was me at first until another DJ said, "No, Stone, let me tell you how it works." Then Key Jam really broke it. Key Jam has been my buddy for years. So Key Jam has always educated me with everything I needed to know. And he would say, "Listen, mate, this is it, mate. This is that. This works like that, mate. This don't work that way. Don't do that, mate. Do." And so he really, truly guided me. And that's how I really learned how the UK works with the records and how fast they burn through the records and how quick you need another record ready to go, because they're going to go through them records, boy.
Hey, as a black DJ that plays on UK radio, feel free to send me all your funk, because I played all my Funk Universe.
And I will definitely do that.
I'm going to give you some information and Stone about the black DJs in the UK. So they go through the songs, the singles or releases very quickly on radio. I don't know why they got a habit of not wanting to repeat the song too many times, but that goes against the grade of the artist, because they want their song played regularly.
Absolutely. Oh my God. but they still playing Beyonce regularly. So it's like they got this whole independent thing. It's got to be reworked sooner or later. Sooner or later, somebody's got to rework it in the UK, because it ain't making sense to me. When you're playing Beyonce and Rashawn Patterson, but you ain't playing Tangeray Howard. Now she got to go do a new record. Tangeray I got to go do a new record, because the DJs I'm burned through the record in a month or so. So it's kind of like, you know, you feel me? But here's the interesting part. When I look up my spins, I still got a lot of stations in the UK spinning my record. But here's the interesting part. All those DJs, when I looked up who they were, they're all Caucasian DJs.
Yes, I was just about to say that all
and
the
they're still spinning my record
that play soul and R&B, but the black stations that play those things, they're in two camps. They either burn the track through very quickly, high turnover, and then they also have a tendency to go back to the old school traditional type of popular tunes.
So that's where I'm at with it. So we're on the same page. So I just said, you know what, I'm just going to and this is why I don't always give all my records to the UK. If you study my history, there are certain records that I don't even give to the UK DJs, because I don't like to be in a rat race where I'm chasing something where I'm like, wait a minute, I'm an artist, man. My job is to create, not to chase a DJ. So some records I don't even give to the UK. Some DJs might be like, oh, Stone has a new record out, but he didn't send it to me. So some people be like, Stone, send me that record, but I might not use the same promoter on every record, because I might not even promote the record to the UK. I'll just be like, if they grab it, they grab it. I focus on just promoting it in the US and to my fan base, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a culture that needs to change in the UK. It's
Yeah, and I think if artists start being more resilient towards their work and letting the DJs know, listen, if you burn through that record, you're not going to get another record from me in another year. I think there'll be a little bit more, but not every artist is going to look at it like that, because artists are selfish. So my job is to be selfish. So my job is I'm going to be selfish over the next artist, instead of us alliancing together, saying, hey, we need to stick together as independent artists and let these DJs know, you burn through these records, you're not going to get another one for another year or another 6 months. You know what I mean? Not that I might not release one, but I might not give the next one to them, to just kind of got to train people. It's kind of like a relationship, how a woman has to train her husband and, you know, he has to train. I'm just saying, you feel what I'm saying? So it's that same concept. We have to train the DJs, because we're already giving them the record for free. And then some of us are paying promoters to promote the record, and then they're giving it to the DJs for free. My theory was always, if we're going to pay somebody, let's put the money in the melting pot and split the money with all the damn DJs. I'm just saying. Those are the ones that are spending the record, you know what I mean? And so these are the kind of things that don't necessarily get me in trouble, but these are the things that have people looking at me going, now Stone just be talking crazy, but
it's not crazy.
Somebody has to be the one to speak. I always tell people I can speak because I control my career. Can't nobody shut my career down but God. And so a lot of artists are scared to speak because they're scared a DJ might not play them. I'm like, man, you know how many DJs are in the world? Stop being scared. Either you stand for something or you fall for everything. So we have to speak up about the things that affect us as independent artists, or it's going to keep happening. You know?
I agree. I totally
interesting thing is, I just met with a bunch of local Philly artists. Like, we're tired of the $100 gigs. We're tired.
Come on now.
Venues and that's why I haven't been, out much, and I just been on TikTok and just enjoying my life. And
I'll be in Philly on March the 2nd.
Really?
At the Cicely Tyson Center. I'll be me, what's the name from Silk, Melissa Morgan. That new venue, the Cicely Tyson Center. They did a renovation, and I'll be there performing. And plus, I'll be with my buddy Jazz from Drew Hill, because I'm working on some records with him and stuff. So
okay, I will reach out and see.
Yeah. I forgot you were in Philly. Oh shucks, man. I'm gonna have to figure out how I can get you on this show, because I forgot you're in Philly.
But it was like maybe 200 artists at the venue, and then like another 80 on Zoom that couldn't make it. And we were just all getting together, just talking about issues that we have. And I mean, some of it is on us too, because it's like, a lot of us don't have a website. A lot of us don't have like an electronic press kit. And stuff like that. So we were just trying to come together to come up with ideas, to try to make it worth our while, because it's hard singing for 3 hours, and then you're getting $100, and then by the time I pay the babysitter and pay for gas, like, I might as well just stay home, and of course, in the beginning, it was new. I didn't have my daughter at the time, so I was kind of just doing whatever, just trying to get out there. But I have paid my dues in the city of Philadelphia. I have sold out multiple venues. I mean, I had to come back at people and say, okay, listen, I mean, I know I wasn't great at math, and I wasn't in the calculus class, but, I know that 15 times 115 times 4 shows, and I'm only coming home with $800.
Like,
that's it. That's it. So, I just got to the point the past couple months that, if it's not worth my while.
I think we've got a few.
What happened? Did you cut off? I'm sorry.
I know that Tanqueray was having some Wi-Fi issues. Oh, she's coming back alive. Are you back here? Are you back with us now, Tanqueray? Queen of Music? Okay.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so it's just interesting how, just even on the performance side, they treat independent artists and just, people that's, out there, and even, and they've been charging these rates even back in the 70s from what I heard, as we were talking, there, everything is going up, food is going up, clothes is going up, all these expenses are going up, but then the pay is still the same.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I get it that you have to have the numbers, to be able to, put people in the seat. So, I get that. But it's just like, just be fair.
Here in Nevada and California, it's the same thing. But you know how I've been able to combat that? Through the years, I self-promote my own shows. I get a venue. I bring in the acts I want to on my show. I do tickets, pre-ticket sales. And I don't let no promoter put their hands on the money. And I take care of all the other artists. I give them tickets. I said, here's what the ticket costs me. Whatever you sell it for, you keep the money.
Right.
And it's work, because as long as we allow them to, I hate to use the word pimping artists out, but I have to use that word. Long as we allow them to do that, they're going to do that. So the only way around that is to self-promote your shows. You got a name. People come out and see you. All you got to do is find a venue that's willing to work with you, and you do your own shows.
Yeah.
Create your own tickets, do your own shows, and that's the end of story. They'll come back to you with respect. So next time around, when they come to you, they know they got to come right, because you're already doing your own shows. You don't need them.
Right. Yeah.
That is so true. That's very good advice.
Yeah, the self-promotion is always the best way to go. You know what I mean? It's just always the best way to go, because then you don't have to worry about being let down. You don't have to worry about, the money, because you already calculated, how much you're going to make. You probably spend a little bit on promotions and flyers, but you get 10 artists and you say, listen, here's these many tickets. It's costing me this much. So you buy these tickets from me, and whatever you want to add on to it as your price to charge your people, that's on you. Just pay me what it costs me to get these tickets. And that's what I do at my lounge here. Like when I have events, whether it's a comedy event or a performance, I might get 100 tickets. I might get 10 acts, and I say each one might get maybe 10 tickets a piece or 20 tickets a piece. And I'm like, okay, this is what you got to buy them from me for. And I make sure it's room enough for them to make some money. And then I said, you sell them to your family and friends, but you got to sell these tickets, because you got to bring your people in. And it always works perfect. They make money, I made money, everybody's happy.
Yeah. Because there is this misconception, because I've heard it, that goes around that artists shouldn't self-promote. But I think that misconception, that not athletes, artists shouldn't self-promote. But I think that misconception is circulated around to give scope to the promoters so that they stay relevant in that market.
Yeah, I saw a meme about that 2 days ago. And he was saying that, independent artists self-promoting is not because that they got a big head or they're stuck on themselves. It's because that's the way they have to get their music out there. They're not paying a firm to do it for them. And so to do it without getting robots to boost your following and all that, it takes a lot of work.
And then the artist can hire somebody that can assist them to do it, rather than somebody else taking control, because it almost defeats the notion of being an independent artist when you're relying on a promoter.
Yeah. I mean, did nobody tell Too Short and E40 that when they were selling CDs out the back of their car? Mm-hmm. They had to do what they had to do.
Just food for thought.
Yeah.
Food for thought. And Stone, what do you do to keep so youthful? I'm not going to ask you your age, okay? But you are you're like Peter Pan. You are forever young.
Peter Pan.
I can't hear you. You're on mute, or something's happened to your audio. I'm not sure what's happened to your audio. Hello.
I saw it go on mute then off. I still can't hear
Yeah, I
the
heard
brother.
a little something at one stage. Not sure what
Dang,
happened.
the picture looks good, just don't have any audio.
I know the picture is clear. It's actually the picture's become clearer as the audio is gone.
Oh no.
So whilst Stone Paxton is trying to get his audio back, let's listen to some of Stone Paxton singing about happy people.
My jam right here.
Yeah, happy people, happy people, happy people, I can't believe this world around me. It's not the same. People are angry. I meditate to take my mind away. Pray for the world in hopes for a better day. Ooh, we are made by design. The world is now darker than light. That's fact. We have one chance to make it alright. What is left is our future demise. Missing happy people makes the world go round and round, round and round. Happy people turn around to smile. Happy people don't worry about things. Happy people take love and domination. Missing happy people makes the world go round and round, round and round. Happy people turn around to smile. Happy people don't worry about things. Happy people today ain't nothing like a frown taken off of your face. Cause I just wanna be lifted up, wanna be lifted up, wanna be brought up today. Missing happy people makes the world go round and round. Happy people turn around to smile. Happy people don't worry about things. Happy people take love and dominate. Listen, happy people makes the world go round and round. Happy people turn around to smile. Happy people don't worry about
Ah, that was wonderful. I love that song.
Yeah.
That got me grooving. Are we
Mhm.
still having audio issue? We can't hear you, Stone. Not sure what's happening. Bear with us. Hello. And it was so perfect. I don't know what little switch you might have touched. How have you been, Queen of Boozadelic?
I'm doing all right.
You're looking extra radiant and glowing.
I took a bath today.
Pardon?
I took a bath today.
Stop it. Get out of it. That's so funny. Did you hear what your Queen of Boozadelic said?
No, I missed it. What did she say?
I said, Queen of Boozadelic, you are looking extra glowing. You're looking extra fine today. And she said, because she took a bath today.
Because what?
She took a bath today.
You know, sometimes it's hard when you got a kid. Mommy. So I just be like, okay, get in, get out, you know.
Right.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We heard you. We heard you just then.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
hey,
God.
you have
So I had to get
arrived.
out and come back in.
Arrived.
Oh,
You've
my
landed.
People keep calling me, you know, it's crazy. It's like I'm live. Wow. Yeah, that song got me pumped up though.
It's the cause getting in the way of the audio. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, people, please don't call while I'm live.
You're just so popular, Stone.
I don't know why. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just keeping it real. I do it for the music.
Yeah.
You know.
That happy people video, that's my favorite right there.
Look, there's a lot of legends in that video.
Oh, I know. We got my man Gene Poo Poo Man Anderson in there.
Poo Poo in there. My guys from the my former band, the Stone City Band, Rick James Stone City Band, Lonnie Motley from the Parliament, D. Levance from the Isley Brothers on keys, and then Bo Barrington from the Temptations is in the dancing part, you know. So
yes,
yeah. So it's some legends to get all them in the same place. It was crazy, you know.
Yeah,
that was so much fun.
It was. It was.
It looked fun as well, and it actually comes across and makes us feel so happy.
Yeah. You know what? We shot that during COVID, right? So it was weird because everybody was close, but I was like, you know what? Like, if you guys are comfortable with not wearing your mask, I'm okay with that. But just take in mind, you're making that decision. But I said, I want this video to feel real when people watch it. I want them to feel like, you know, I wanted to capture that old Soul Train vibe. Like I'm performing on Soul Train, you know, and then it's going back and forth to people doing the Soul Train line. And then my performance with me and the band, I wanted to capture some of that essence of that whole vibe, you know.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I missed that show actually. Soul Train. That show was fabulous.
Yeah, it was incredible. That was an incredible time. So I wanted to capture that. Interesting part is a lot of people when I did that video, then a lot of musicians like Bootsy loved the video. George Clinton loved it. I mean, all the old school cats love it. So people start copying that whole black and white concept like what I did. A lot of people start copying it now. So I said, okay, I did it again. I like to inspire people to just do things that they probably wouldn't have thought of doing. I'm not necessarily rewriting. I'm just kind of capturing the essence of the feeling of what music was back in the day with a video and the feel of the music. And I just know we're at a time when I did that in COVID, I wrote Happy People because, and the weird part is I wrote it before COVID happened, because I wrote that song January of 2019, and then I spoke at the NAMM convention, right? So I hadn't put that song out, and I wrote it, and it was just a weird time. So that's what came to me. I said, if I could give people a gift, what could I give them that would last a lifetime? And that was to make them smile, to uplift their spirits, because everybody was so down and out during that period of time. So Happy People was a result of just, I'm not going to say COVID, but I wrote it during that time. So I'm thinking my spirit must have been influenced somehow to do that without even knowing I did it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, some good times. Stone City Band. Back in 1983, I was on college radio, and Rick James and the Stone City Band came to Tacoma Dome up in the Seattle area. And so we got some promotional tickets, went up there, and we had to get like a sound bite from somebody in the band. And so after the show, ran into Nate Hughes outside the elevator, and he allowed me and one of the other yeah, so he told me and one of the other DJs to come in there and pick the girls that got to ride up. So that's my Stone City Band.
I gotta tell Nate. I gotta tell Nate about that one. Nate's got good. He'll remember all that stuff too, man. That's when they had the big boots and the braids and
and the glitter in the hair.
And the glitter,
And, the crazy thing was, he was so cool because when we asked him to record it, he did it right there in the elevator. And up in my area, I live up here in the Pacific Northwest. We got a lot of Indian names, so he got tripped up on Willamette. He would say Willamette. I said Willamette. Then Tualatin, he was like Talation. I said no, it's Tualatin. He said, man, y'all got some serious. Yeah, he said y'all got some serious words out here.
That's Nate, man. Nate's hilarious. I gotta tell him that story. I'm sure he's gonna remember that story.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Nate. If you, I don't know if you've spoken to Nate through the years online or anything, but.
No,
man, Nate, yeah, man, that's Nate. Oh my goodness, man. But yeah, great story, man. I'm gonna share that with him.
All right.
I'm gonna bring that up to him. I can tell him that. I have to get a little bit more detail again, but because I want to give it to him the same way you told me.
Okay.
So I want to get that detail. I have you send that in my inbox so I can mess with him,
All right, I'll send it to
you. Thanks for sharing that story, man.
And Stone.
Yes.
I know one way in which you keep fit. You're a martial artist, man.
Yes, ma'am. It's weird because I've been doing that as long as I've been doing music. So I've been training the martial arts since I was a kid. And literally martial arts and music neck to neck since I was like 8 with the martial arts, and my brothers are black belts, and so I fought. Let me see. I'm actually a 4-time world champion. I'm looking at one of my plaques. Let me grab it right now and show you one of them. This is one. It's sitting on my piano. I keep it in the studio. One of them, but this is one of them from 2017 world champion.
Oh, okay.
So that's my passion. Like the music that's one of my other passions. Is that hold on, let me turn this off. I'm sorry, you guys. That's one of my passions. Sorry about that.
That's
my apologies. And so I still train 2 or 3 times a week, and then I teach when I have time. And that is definitely one of the reasons I stay in shape, because I never stop training.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm always training. I always stay ready, spiritually and mentally. What my instructor taught us, spiritually and physically and mentally, always prepared. And so, and it's really been a help for me spiritually and discipline wise through the years. It's probably the thing that has kept me grounded and not doing stupid stuff. From my younger age to my adult age, I've always thought 10 times before I make any kind of move. So I contribute that to definitely the discipline of martial arts. And I love it. I mean, gosh, some guys think I'm nuts because at my age, 53, guys are not fighting anymore. They'll get into tournaments and do like weapons But
Yeah.
I fight with the young dudes. I'm in there fighting with the 19-year-olds, and I'm fighting with the 20-year-olds, and they're like, dude, you're still fighting? I'm like, yeah, why not? I mean, it's called martial arts. It's the art of
Exactly.
combat, the art of protecting you. I want to know it works still. So I still, when I received those four world championships, the international martial arts championships, I was fighting young dudes in their 20s. These dudes are in their prime, and so these dudes are fighting for the love of it. You know what I mean? So they're coming in there to hurt somebody. And here I am, a senior, because that's what they call senior black belts, and I'm fighting these young guys. And a lot of guys go, I don't know how you do it, but I'm a competitive person, and I just love it. I just like to know that the martial arts works, and I love the essence of what the art is, and the defensive and offensive element of it. And I utilize it to the fullest. So yeah, I love it. The music and the martial arts. I always tell people I'm the real Eminem. I'm the real Eminem. You know?
Man. So growing up, did you watch a lot of the martial arts movies like Jim Kelly, Bruce Lee?
Oh my gosh. Listen, don't get me started on the martial arts movies, bro. Listen. I will binge out, and I will do a marathon on you, bro. Like I've never been into football, basketball. Now, here's the weird part. I don't like watching football or basketball on TV, but I'll go to a game and I'll sit in the stadium. I like that whole interaction, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But watching it on TV, it lose my interest. But boxing and martial arts, I'm stuck to the TV. I mean, I'm in front of the TV fighting and moving, and you know, I'm one of those dudes. You be like, sit down, man. But yeah, I just, you know what? I never thought about it, but I think you're 100% correct, because that has to be contributed. Because somebody saw a picture of me, and they messaged me in my inbox, and they said, hey, man, when was this picture taken of you? And I said, oh, man, that was 18 years ago. They said, what? And they said, oh, my God, you still look the same. I said, I don't smoke. I don't drink.
Yeah.
I meditate sometimes 7 times a day.
Damn.
I'm a Buddhist. I treat people good. I think I spend more time making other people happy than I do myself. And that's not a good thing, but I've been handsomely rewarded for caring about more people than I care about myself. And I try not to stress, and I do my scrubs. I'm one of them guys. I'll be in that mirror in the morning and nighttime, all the time. Oh yeah. Yeah. My mom raised me and my brothers too. I do the scrub every night. You know, I drink my water, and like I said, I work out, and I just treat people good. You know, I treat people good, and I try not to have any malice thoughts about anybody in my head, because I don't want that negative energy coming back on me. Because karma is moving faster than it's ever moved in the history of the United States of America and the world. So if I have a bad thought about somebody, I don't even allow it to. I'll go meditate and not allow it to come into my system, because I don't want nobody to think bad about me. So I'll try to keep those things out, and I practice that every day to be a better person, a better man, and a better spirit. And I put that energy into music. So if somebody's treated me bad, I still treat them good. I might not talk to you, but I still treat you good. I might not interact with you, but you know, and I might not tell anybody about you, because I don't believe in that karma either, the karma of mess. Because once you start talking about somebody to other people, and then the stories change. And so I do believe in that being karma also, because I don't want nobody telling a story about me that's not true. So I'm going to watch my mouth on you as well. You know, make sure I don't do that, you know.
Right.
So, and all that, once again, all that discipline is martial arts. Because I was raised by my aunt. I got 6 brothers and 3 sisters. I was raised by my aunt. So I only saw my mother on the weekends. So it's just a lot of things that music and martial arts has done to really help me spiritually and mentally. And of course, the Almighty upstairs, you know. But those 2 things honestly have been my equilibrium. It has truly balanced me out. And I probably, if I go back 30 years, 38 years, and I take those things away, you guys I'll probably be in prison, would have killed somebody. Because I'm looking at some of the stuff that my brothers got caught up in, my older brothers, you know. So I know I probably would have followed that path because they were my older brothers and I wanted to be like my older brothers. So yeah, this stuff saved me. Wow. in a major way. The music and the martial arts is what saved me, you know, and this is why I try to pass it on to kids. I talk about it. You know, I lose friends over this. I've lost relationships over this. But at the end of the day, I'm still one in peace with myself, and that's all that matters, you know. And I can still write about it.
All right.
What school of martial arts, my brother?
So I got my black belt in Taekwondo. Well, I started in Kung Fu, and then when I came out on the West Coast, they didn't have any Shotokan schools, right?
Wow.
So yeah, they didn't have any out here. Back in 1990 in Vegas, they didn't have any Shotokan schools. So here's the crazy part. So I started in Kung Fu, switched to Shudokan, you know, which is a hard style, Japanese style. Got my black belt, came out to the West Coast, and the way these guys were fighting in these tournaments, I was getting whooped up every tournament. I didn't understand. And my new instructor said, well, I can't honor your black belt because that system I don't teach. I said, but it's martial arts. He said, well, it's a different system, and I can't give you a black belt in the system that I don't teach. I can give you some accredited hours for your years of doing it, but I'm not just gonna put you in a black belt in this system. And so his system was Taekwondo, but they called it American freestyle because it was mixed with a whole bunch of different styles. So I was fighting in these tournaments. I don't know if you're familiar with the BKF, the Black Karate Federation, and White Tiger, those guys, White Tigers school.
Yes,
now,
sir.
Back in the 90s, those guys were just mopping up the tournaments. Like I was going in tournaments and getting whooped, and I didn't understand. So my instructor said, well, the style you were taught is an open style. So your body is wide open. So, you know, these guys are closed off here on the West Coast. You going in tournaments wide open, you getting hit all the time. So the system that I'm going to teach you is a closed off style, but it's based from Taekwondo, a lot of kicks, but we incorporate a lot of punches. And so I probably spent a good 10 years in the new system having to get a new black belt again. But the beautiful part about the new system was these guys were fighting, man. I thought I came from a fighting school in Illinois, but these brothers out here on the West Coast, man, Steve Sanders and all those guys, Wesley Snipes instructor, BKF, these guys were fighting in tournaments. I'm talking, and Jim Kelly comes from that same system, the BKF, right?
Okay.
But these guys were coming in tournaments and just rocking it and knocking cats out, man. Like they were really, really doing it like trying to hurt, like really trying to hurt people for real though, right?
Right.
So once I learned the system, then I was able to adapt to the system. And then I went from never ever winning any tournaments to winning world championships. And I never thought in my life, I always said, this is what I want to accomplish in my life. I work for Warner Brothers. So I've worked on triple platinum projects and, you know, worked with Teddy Riley and Ginger Spice, Bryan Adams, producing remixes, working for Warner Brothers. That stuff is cool, you know, achieving those things because I'm with a major, that's going to happen. But I said, these are the things I want to achieve in my future. As an independent artist, I want to chart on Billboard independently with no help from no major. I want to chart on iTunes Top 100. I want to do this. I want to be nominated or considered for a Grammy. That's happened twice. I didn't win. I didn't get a nomination, but I've been considered twice. I've charted 40 over, probably more than 47 now. I have another Billboard record that charted on Billboard. So that's all this stuff I've done independently. Then I said, I want to get one world championship before I'm old and I can't do this anymore. And I prayed to the universe. I said, I just want one, just one. I ended up getting 4. When I won that one, then back to back, 4 years in a row. And I'm fighting guys who are the number one seed guys, these young dudes, and I'm beating them, you know, in my late 40s, early 50s, I'm beating these guys. And I was in shock because I had never won a world championship, and everybody else in my school, my class, had all won world championships, but I was the only one that had never won it. And then my instructor said, well, I'm going to tell you why you didn't win, because your heart wasn't into what you needed to do to win. You might have trained, you might have gotten there physically, you might have done everything you needed to do to train to receive your rankings, but mentally you wasn't ready. That's why you never won in those tournaments. And I won 4, and I was shocked because I said, man, I only wanted 1 and I got 4. I got 4. And so I said, okay, these are the things that people don't think you can accomplish based on the age or you know, even charting. Like, people think you got to be a major label artist to make it in iTunes Top 100 or get a Billboard, but you don't. So I've proven that by doing these things, because now iTunes Top 100 is, you know, it's the top 40 now. It took over Casey Kasem's Top 40.
Right.
So I tell independent artists, when you chart in iTunes Top 100, you basically, if you break in at number 6 and up, you break into the R&B Top 40 USA. I've done that. Like, now I've done that about 15 times in the top 40. But in order to make it to Billboard, you got to stay on the iTunes Top 100 for about a week and a couple of days straight. Then you can make it to Billboard. If you don't make it a week and a couple of days, you make it on the iTunes Top 100, but you just didn't make it into the Billboard, you know. And so I've done those things independently, so can't nobody tell me what can't be done. And then some people will try to downplay the Billboard and the iTunes charts, and those are usually artists that ain't accomplished it, so they'll downplay, like, you know, charge it. But no, it's a big deal. It's a very big deal, because everybody can't do it. So when it happened for Tangeray, I hit her up and said, hey, did you know that, you know, you broke into the iTunes Top 100? Because I wanted her to know how big of a deal that was and how hard that is to do. It's not easy to do, and that's why you don't see artists doing it every day. It's really not easy, because people got to buy your record.
That's right.
They actually got to download the record. That's the only way you make it. And you got to sell so many records within that period of time to even chart. People ain't buying records like that no more, downloading those records. That's considered a physical album. When they download it, it's a physical record. So this is how you break into the chart. So you can break in. If you sold 500 in 1 week and Maroon 5 did 100, you're going to break in at number 2 over Maroon 5.
That's right.
And you know what was crazy with that particular song, which was Caught Up? I got like chewed out over in the UK, because I had put it out before, or, you know, the DJs was playing it.
I remember you told me that story. Right.
And I was like, well, look at what happened.
Yeah, I remember that story. I do remember you saying that. And I was like, hey, you know what? Just, you know, keep moving, keep doing you. And that's a huge accomplishment. And so that's why I was like, yeah, you need that on your wall. I got all mine. I got so many. I got my major label plaques. I got my independent. And I'm more proud of my independent stuff. So I took a lot of my major label plaques down, because when people came in, I wanted them to see the independent stuff that I've done. So I can say that's all independent right there.
Yes, sir. Brother, congratulations, man, on both this. To backtrack a little bit.
Thank you.
In terms of you know, your accomplishment in the arts, and in fact in more than one martial art, and to achieve at that level, and to win not only once but 4 times. I mean, I know what regional, and this is national and international competition is, brother. So that's as Maya Angelou would say, that is phenomenal. First of all, with that, and then second of all, I feel you on featuring the independents. No diss to the major labels, but you know, they of course had the machines and the juice and the dollars behind it that we as independents don't have. So you know that when it does happen, and Tangeray, you know, as an independent, you know, it's on by the grace of God, as all things, but by the strength of the record and by the grit that you put in, and the artistic integrity is just unquestionable, because you don't have those major label dollars behind you.
You know, what they say, you know, in traveling in life, there's more than one freeway to get to the same place, right?
Come on now.
So I tell artists this. I said, listen, there's a lot of artists think that you can. And here's this big argument that's going on in independent music. Don't put out the digital album. Well, here's my thing. I don't know what people are thinking, but I'm an advocate for physical. Big
sir.
Time. But I've been a part of this digital thing since it started in 1997. My deal was with the Orchard before Sony bought the Orchard out.
Okay.
I was with them. When digital started, the Orchard was the ones that started it. They took it to iTunes. The first digital distribution was on the iPhones. I've been with them since the beginning, so I know this digital in and out. Now, if you look at the map of music distribution, it's 80% digital now. Actually, 90% now. Period. So I tell artists, why are you going to go backwards? And you hearing all these different promoters saying, oh, don't do this, you should do the physical, and and that's okay to do the physical. Add it on to the equation. But if the model is the future, why are we going backwards? We can add the old school model along with it, side by side. But I noticed the artists, they always talk that crap, and I'm going to say it how it is, are usually the artists that ain't sold no digital. And so they've convinced themselves that if I get the physical CDs, I'll sell a lot, and still don't sell a lot. Because what people don't understand is it's not easy to push 500 CDs. But you don't know it until you got them in the box next to you. And you got to figure out what the hell you're going to do with them. I've been there and done that through the years. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And the warehousing cost, even if you were able to get it in the stores, if it don't sell in the 90, 60, 90-day cap, they're going to ship it right back to you.
Yep.
I used to do that on consignment, right? For my own company. So I'll tell artists, listen, I call it the Walmart theory of music. Anytime I speak at the music conventions, I tell them, listen, build your catalog.
Yes.
When you walk into Walmart, they know that they're going to make a sale all the time if somebody's getting gum, a shoestring, a hairpin. Build your catalog. The more you have, you tip the scale. It's a scale. The more you have, you can't, once the scale gets tipped, it's going to be like this.
Yep.
You're gonna be winning. The more you got out, the more you're gonna have coming in. It's a numbers game now. It's not about a hit. It's not about a song charting. The more you have out, the more your music will start to alter the natural algorithm of Spotify. So if I have 3,000 records out, Stone Paxton's records are gonna start popping up more frequent with Jay-Z or Beyonce, because I just got so many records out. The system can't stop me because I've tipped the scale financially and musically, because I just got so many records out that my records keep coming up every other artist by default. So I tell artists, this is called the Walmart theory of music. Just cut records. It's called the business of music, not the artist business. Get in the studio, stop being biased about a record. Take that record, put it out. Who said it the best? Prince said, like Black Lives and books, albums still matter. So all these artists, you can be the greatest artist in the world. The one that's going to win is the one that has catalog and the one that's consistent. It don't matter if you singing like Whitney Houston and you got somebody singing like Daffy Duck. If the one singing like Daffy Duck got enough Daffy Duck records out, they going to win. Because it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game, and it's a consistency in the numbers game, and their numbers is there. And not only that, it also opens up the door for them to be able to go and borrow against their catalog. Because there's so many bankers giving money now. These guys want a piece of the money.
Right.
So they're giving money. If they say you got 200 songs, they're like, 200 songs, do you need money? They want a piece of the royalty. Music royalties are almost a 300% profit margin now.
Mm-hmm.
So now all the private investors are getting buying into royalties now.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to be a triple platinum artist. You just got to have a catalog. So I always educate artists, and I say, listen, you see how I drop records? I'm in the music business. I'm not in the artist business. I'm in the music business, a business of dropping music. Some songs I might not even like, but I'm going to put them out. You know, we change our output. We change our our success based on our output of work.
Right.
That's why my phone rings all the time. If it ain't a celebrity calling me asking for help, my opinion, or can I help them with their business or putting it together, or somebody called me to produce or write. If it ain't that, I'm on the road doing a show. If it's not that, I'm speaking at a seminar about music and how I'm able to do what I'm doing and still doing it and successful with it. And so I show people the checks. I will put the check up on the screen and be like, okay, this is how much money I'm making. And y'all telling me ain't no money in this digital? Somebody lied to you. And those are the people that ain't made the money. Those are usually the people that don't make the money.
Yeah.
So they lied to the artist and tell them ain't no money in it. If it wasn't no money in digital, we wouldn't have Warner Brothers, Capitol, EMI, and all these people still in business because they're making more money they've ever made now.
Yes, they are.
It's strictly on digital.
That's right.
It's only the artists that believe what other people say instead of learning the business and knowing, like, wait a minute, if they're not making money, then why are they not paying as much? And just putting two to two together. So, and we know we're not getting paid what we should be paid. I mean, heck, the average person don't get paid what they get paid at a regular job. We know that as artists. But how do we change that? So if I'm making only making 25 cents, or let's say 3 cents a record, because independent artists actually make more than what you would make if you were signed to a major back in the day, and even now. So the average artist is making at least 99 cents a record, or let's say low end 65 cents, right? So if you had 300 records, you making money all the time, even if it's today you made $5. Tomorrow, this song made $20 today. That other song made you $10. That other one made you $30. This one made you $100 today. That one made you. People ain't looking at the numbers game. Like, this is a numbers game. Like, don't trip off of trying to be perfect. Just trip off of building your catalog so that combined together is one big check. When all your songs collectively come together, your catalog is, you get one big check.
And you're the second artist to say this in the recent months here. I'm really taking heed to this.
Hey, probably because somebody didn't see my YouTube, because people don't talk like this. A lot of people go to my YouTube channel and be peeping it out, and they'll take some gems and run ready to go talk about it, because nobody talks like this unless you've been in the trenches. I've been in the trenches doing this, running my own label since 1995, and I was on the front end of the digital. So the only way to know that is you got to be on the front end. Other than that, you digging somebody else's information, spitting it.
Yeah. And so, well, I appreciate you breaking down the game for us, man.
Yes,
Putting
sir.
it in layman's terms.
Yes, sir. All the time. Anytime.
Build that catalog.
Build that catalog. That's the only way we're going to win. Because the beautiful part about it is you even have a major label come and say, hey, we noticed you have a catalog of songs. You know how many times I've been offered money for my whole catalog?
Yes, sir.
They say, hey, Stone, you need money because we're interested in your catalog. I'm not interested to sell it. Well, you don't want to borrow any money? No, I don't need to borrow any money. If you're asking me, do I need to borrow money? You know I'm making money.
How about that?
No, I'm cool. I'm going to tell you something deep. I had a friend of mine named Frank McComb, right?
Mm-hmm.
Frank, his catalog, he got a lot of records. So Frank came to me and said, hey, Stone, I need to leverage my catalog. I said, okay, cool. I'm going to take you to my people. I got Frank some money. They cut him that check quick because he have a lot of songs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't have to pay this money back monthly if you need it. If I needed it now, I could go get 100,000. I wouldn't have to pay it back, because what they do is levy the royalties, and they say, okay, we're going to do an evaluation of your royalties. And then they say, okay, in about 9 months, we know that we're going to make that money back. So all these records we levy with you, we're going to collect the royalties off of them in a percentage for 9 months. Any new records we can't touch. But these, because we're giving you this 100,000, and then after that's paid off, your catalog reverts back to you. You still own it. They made their money. You got your 100,000. You didn't have to go do no title loan or none of that. You you levy your own catalog for you. You just took out an advance on your money, your future royalties. So this stuff is real. This is more real than what artists realize. So I try to teach them the business part of it. I said, maybe if you don't understand the studio part, maybe if I tell you the business part, how this financially can benefit you, maybe you'll listen then usually artists start listening when I start telling them financially how this can benefit them. I say, if this is all you want to do, records, then you need to be in the studio every day dropping records, putting records out. You need to try to drop 2 to 3 singles a month and 4 albums a year. I mean, and if you ain't gonna do the albums, drop a single a week, every week, 2 singles a week.
Yes, sir.
You know, we really have the power, but until we realize it and mobilize ourselves as a business, we'll always complain about what we're not making as artists and musicians, you know.
Yes, sir. And you're so right about Prince, you know, when he wrote Slave on his forehead, you know, 3 decades ago. And like when you tell at the front of it, that's what he was telling.
He knew. Prince was so sharp. He knew, like, you know what? I figured out what they doing. See, they can sign 10 acts and only 2 of those acts are going to make money back, and they got to cover all the acts that didn't.
Right.
So it's not even about the hit records. It's about the goddamn catalog, because they're going to put all these records in the stores, and even the artists that didn't sell is still making $2 a day.
Yep.
Oh my God. Prince figured it out. Oh my God. Okay, I got it. So I just got to put this stuff out. It's going to make me money all the time in the body of work, in the body of the work.
Right.
Not the one song or the hit song, because he's actually made more money with his body of work than his hit records.
How about that?
and he knew that. And he was spitting the game, the artists, and everybody was glassy-eyed in the audience. I said, do they not hear what this man is saying? Even Russell Simmons, if you go back and look at the video, Russell Simmons, I say people don't get it. Nobody took what he said and ran with it. Nobody there took it. D'Angelo was there. Everybody was there. Nobody took it and ran with it. Nobody. Well, no, I take that back. One person did do it, and that was Beyonce. She kept dropping singles and albums and singles. I think Beyonce was touched by it. She must have listened to it, because if you look at her track record, she has not stopped with dropping records.
That's right.
So I think Beyonce paid attention, but other than that, with all the people that you thought would have paid attention, nobody walked away with it. They didn't, Master P understood it.
Yes, he did.
Which is why he's still in the position he's in now. He's in a wonderful position because he built it. He built it that way from the start. His catalog making so much money for him. That dude he's set for life.
Yes, he is.
So this is what I push the artists. Like, Tangeray, how many albums you have out now? You got 3, right?
No, I just have 1. I'm working on the second one now.
Come on, man. You should have about 5 albums out by now.
Yeah.
How many singles you been putting out a year?
I put out 2 last year. So
Okay. At least you still working. You're still working. So that's good. Because I always tell artists, don't let a year go by without putting something out. At least
I got 7 ready to go. So.
Okay, there we go. Come on now. That's what I'm talking about. That's it, man.
I'm ready.
That's it. We have to build, because we can literally, we can make this all we do. This is all I do. But because I built my catalog and people say, oh, well, you get money from records you produced on major artists and working for Warner Brothers. I say, I'm telling you, I'm not counting that money. So I'm only counting on surviving off of the money that I made from my label and my records. I survive. I don't have to do anything, but I get up every morning and I work like I've never been in this business in my life.
There you go. There's only one way to do this thing. You got to kill a gnat with a sledgehammer.
Oh, come on. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and once you see them there, you just got to hit it quick.
Yeah, that's right. It's a slight diversion, but just in the same vein of the principle of what you're talking about, my brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was now I'm in Minnesota. I'm a Vikings fan, but I was pulling for the Detroit Lions, who were ahead by 17 points.
Hey.
And now the New England Patriots, I've never been a fan of, but one thing I did like about them under Tom Brady, when they were 3 touchdowns ahead, they still played fine. And it's like, if Detroit doesn't do that, they're not going to win this game, kind of thing. So I'm just saying, I know it's a sports analogy, which the women in my group hate when I do that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the
Oh man, come on.
Oh yeah, he's doing the Maximilian thing right now. You know,
Oh yeah.
his digital thing is happening.
So
Okay,
Stone,
I got.
mind?
Oh, go ahead.
Would you mind? We're going to be playing before the end of our show because we've got a couple of minutes left now until the show finishes. We're going to be playing some. Would you mind your latest single so far? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about Would You Mind, and then we're going to play
Oh,
it.
would you mind is actually not the latest single. Latest single is Absolutely Into You, but Would You Mind is a great song. Are you guys familiar with Kyle West, right?
Oh yeah.
So even though I produce 99% of my records, I have a team of producers under me that I taught. I have a young female producer, and so I inspire them so I can have other people have opportunities and give them opportunities. But at the same time, sometimes people that I've always wanted to work with, I end up having the pleasure of being able to work with them. And so when Kyle West presented me some tracks, I jumped on it. And this is one of the songs that he produced, and I wrote to it, and it brought out this element. And I got a few more that's going to be on my album from Kyle, but this was my thing, because when I was younger, I used to hear Kyle's production on Tevin Campbell and I'll Be Sure mostly, because Tevin was later, but on I'll Be Sure stuff. And I was like, man, one day I'm going to work with this cat, man. I love his production. And that day came, and I jumped on it and wrote that record in like 5 minutes, and they were blown away how quick I wrote it. They gave me the track, and I was like, I'm done. And they're like, you're done? And I'm like, yeah. So Would You Mind? I love this song. I love the vibe of this song. I don't even think I promoted this in the UK. I can't remember if I did or not. I don't think I did. Yeah, I don't think I promoted this on UK radio. I can't quite remember, but it's a great song. And by the way, you guys, I'm sorry. I have to take another interview with MTV right now at 2. It's 2 now, so I got to jump off and get with them on Zoom.
That's okay. We'll play both. We'll play a little bit of both.
I'm going to try to log back in. If my interview is done, I'm
into you.
Okay.
All right. Awesome, my brother.
Take care. Thank you for joining us.
I'm going to try to join back in if I'm done with that interview with them.
We'll probably be gone by then.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you've been enjoying us so much.
I have. Yeah. I can talk.
No, you see, I told you, it seems like a long time, but once you get your claws in it, you just don't want to leave. But I know
I could talk. Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Well, you get no, brother. You got a lot to say.
Yeah. Thank you, family. Appreciate you.
A whole lot.
All right, you guys.
All right, blessings.
Oh, make sure you hit me up, okay?
Oh, I'm going to. I'm going to send you something now.
Okay, thank you. I'll talk to you guys.
Okay.
Ciao.
Would you mind if I hold you in the
So we played a little bit of Would You Mind in the background. And then we're going to finish off with Stone Paxton's latest single, Absolutely Into You. I do believe that's his latest one in preparation for Valentine's Day. So, yeah. That was lovely talking to Stone Paxton, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had so much to say. Oh my goodness. We got to bring him back.
Yeah. Great brother.
He didn't want to go.
He's going to come back.
He didn't want to go. So I'm going to go for the next interview. I'm coming back.
I also have another one, Queen Adasa, and my apologies for having a jump, but I told you I would come back. So
you did come back. Oh, you see, that's what happens on the show. We've got beautiful people. And yeah, I really do enjoy it. As I said at the beginning of the show, and I keep saying it all the time, I really do enjoy my first It's like a good tonic. It's like
I agree.
so that is Would You Mind in the Background by Stone Paxton. And then I'm going to leave out with the show Absolutely Into You. I'm going to be playing that for the rest of the show. And thank you all as always. And the 2 hours goes so quickly. I can't believe it. It's just, oh well. We'll be back next week at this time with the After 8 show. So everyone, have a great week ahead. Have a great weekend. You can stay and dance to Absolutely Into You. It's really, really a good track. It's a bit more soulful. It's one of his more soulful tunes, but it's absolutely lovely. So thank you, everyone. Bye
Thank
for
you,
now.
Queen.
And he's back.
I'm back. I'm back.
That was quick.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't ready. They weren't ready. So
I was just about to say that was a quick interview.
yeah, I know.
We were just leaving the show playing Absolutely Into You.
I love that song.
I like this. I'm going to play this tomorrow.
It's a nice little stepper song.
It is, yeah.
I feel so deep into you. Change up the way that I feel into you. So deep into you. Imagine one moment to get your eyes.
Oh, wait a minute. That version. Ooh, that ain't the finished.
You're playing in the legal.
What was he doing?
He said that that's not the
finished version. All right. God bless everybody.
All right, brother. It's always good to see you.
Have a great week.
All right.
Thank you, family.
We're out of here.
All right. Peace and blessings, y'all.
Yes, sir.